Hey everybody, Angelica here, and today I'm going to do a video on Ugly Love, a book by Colleen Hoover, and then I'm also going to talk about my almost writing career. Fingers crossed. So to get started, I'm going to discuss the book Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. I'm okay, so it's like on my phone. It's about a 900-page book. I downloaded it and then I started reading it about a month ago, and I picked it up. I was started reading it and it was nothing too much, and then all of a sudden it's like 4 o'clock in the morning and I'm 500 pages in. So that's saying something since I'm a pretty slow reader, unless the book's really good. So that says a lot. The book was amazing. I loved every freaking second of it. I was like, I the book the book is like an emotional roller coaster. There was not one slow moment at all. I was crying so much. Took all my tears. I don't think I have tears left ever again from this book. I loved Tate. I loved Miles. I just loved their relationship. It's such a sad book, but it's so good. Like, you can't help but fall in love with them. Their personalities, the way that they interact with each other, the way that I just can't even like get to the motions with it. So I've watched some book reviews on Ugly Love about people saying how they got Tate's character traits as weak. I didn't get that at all. I thought she was a strong female role. I loved her so much. Like I get where they got the weak, I guess, from how the way Miles treated her, kind of, and how she just kept kind of going back to him, kind of thing. Like, but I thought the way she thought in her head, the way she wanted to do things, the way she felt, the way she handled all the situations, I felt were strong female traits. I felt like anybody would have done it that way. You can't say that you fall in love with a guy and that you would do it any different than she did, because you wouldn't. That's just how it is. No matter how strong you are. I felt she was the most strong female person I've ever read in a long time. I just really loved her as a character. And Miles was very secretive. He irritated me through half the book because he was so secretive. You didn't know what he was thinking, how he felt about things, how he felt about her, and every time like it alternated between her point of view and his point of view. But every time you got to his point of view, it was in the past, so you didn't know how he felt about her now. And every time he went to the past, it was about him and Rachel, which is his ex-girlfriend, and it's so fucked up what happened to them and how just all of the emotions. And I guess I kind of want to go into some spoilers. I've never done like where the half non-spoilers. I guess I'm just gonna, in case you haven't read it, I'm gonna talk about the spoilers. Okay, so the reasons the book was very emotional was the scene with the car accident with their son, and then with Rachel and Miles' son. That scene really got me. I was crying when they got into the water. I was crying when he was trying to get him out. I was crying when she was freaking out to save him first. I was crying when they weren't able to get him out. I was crying when they were on the car, when they were on the boat together. I was she got wanted nothing to do with. She blamed him. I was crying for that whole scene. And then they get to the part like where he like finally, like, it's through his point of view, the whole thing, and like he goes to Tate, like him and Tate they have sex or whatever, like this one last time type of thing. And like it's so emotional. She's like, because she just wants him to go through with the sex, and he's kind of like, it's kind of like a flashback type of thing. It's like deja vu, because the exact same thing happened right before Rachel left him that note and then left him not to come back. And then he kind of does, she's doing the same thing sort of, so it's kind of like a deja vu type of thing. But like, he calls her Rachel. I cried through their whole sex scene. I bawled. I've never like really got emotional through a book. I've cried in books before. You really have to get me for me to cry in a book. And Colleen Hoover, you got me. I cried through the sex scene. I cried through the car accident. There was another part I cried at. I think I cried at the super super end too. I just full of tears this whole time. I was like fucking 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm like reading this thing. And I'm like bawling my eyes out. And like, I'm just such a passionate reader. Like, if something like dramatic happens, I'll jump up and down. If something crazy, but no, that I'm just like really a dramatic reader. So I was really pumped I was getting through the feels in this book. I just loved every part of it, really. There was so much, there was nothing not to like. I feel like they were both stubborn characters at the same time. Like, they're both passionate people. They're kind of a friends with benefits type thing in the beginning, but the whole time they were just made for each other. But, like, their personalities are, like, in sync. Like, I feel like they're both stubborn people. They didn't want to admit anything out loud to each other because they knew in the beginning that this was just a fling. He tells her not to expect anything, and she doesn't. For a while, she doesn't. Sex is sex, whatever. Until she does start to feel things for him, and then she does start expecting things from him, and he's just not that person, and I just want to punch him in the face half the time because he's a douchebag. Like, Miles, just go out and read this book. Just read it. Ugly Love, read it. Go out and read it. I love this book so much that I'm getting a tattoo of it. I know I said this in one of my previous videos that I was getting a tattoo of it, and I haven't got around to getting it. Just work is getting with me, and work. I'm just a busy person, ish. Sorry, but I'm getting a tattoo of this right here. I don't know if you can see it, like right here in my middle of my back. I'm super excited. Just go and fucking read this book. It's like the best book ever. Best book ever. Just go download it on your phone or go buy it or go check it out. I don't care. Dude, stop what you're doing. Even pause this video and go read this book. I won't even get mad. Just go read this book. It's such a good book. I loved every second of it. You'll love every second. It's a really big book, but I finished it in like 2 days. So that's how good it was. You'll cry. You'll cry. You'll cry. I don't get why I'm telling you to go read it. Usually, if you're watching it this far, you've probably already read it. Let's go reread it. How about that? Stop this video. Let's go all reread this freaking book because that's how wonderful and amazing and magical and emotional and lovely and meh it was. That's how meh. That's blah. It was that. Loved it. Every second of it. Colleen Hoover, you're like a book goddess, man. I'll tell you that much. Okay. Now on to other topics that I had to talk about. So if you've seen any of my other videos, I'm a writer and I'm trying to publish a book. So I guess the first thing to do is to finish the book, right? Which I'm trying to do. I am closer than ever. I've been working on this book for about a year and a half almost, and I'm this close to being done. I made the big choices of self-publishing is what I'm going to do because if you self-publish, you get every right to you. Like, you get to choose whose the next book's about. You get to choose what happens, how it goes, the ending, the beginning. You have all rights to do whatever you want with your books. If you get going to like the big people like the New York whatever, like the publishers people whatever, that makes sense. They choose kind of what happens to your books. They kind of choose who you write about next. Say if you want to write about another character, they don't agree with it. They didn't think that person deserves a book. They didn't think that person has a story to tell. Then you don't get to write the story. And I don't want people to tell me how my books should be written. I don't want people to tell me how my books should be done. That's that simple. So I'm going into the self-publishing industry with CreateSpace.com. It's kind of complicated so far, but I'm kind of getting the ropes of it because I've started the account, started the editing with the book cover and all that stuff. But as as I'm coming close to the finish, I'm like, oh shoot, I need a table of contents. I need to page my numbers and all that good stuff. And so I paged my numbers before I wrote my table of contents. So I'm sitting there adding their names and their chapters, and then I'm like doing the numbers, but then I realize as I go further down, the page numbers start to change. So like shit, now I have to change the numbers, so it's very frustrating to do that. And I kind of have to figure out what book cover I kind of want as well. So that's kind of what's going on for me right now. So it's kind of a ugly love slash Angelica can't control life book blah in this video. So I think that's all pretty much I have to talk about. So go out and read Ugly Love. Wish me luck on finishing Can't Control Life. And once I finish Can't Control Life and I published it, go out and read Can't Control Life by Angelica Gonzalez. But that's all I have for you today. So you guys have a good day. Bye.